Well, you asked, and I'm here to answer how I trim up my half square triangles. Many of you have been asking on my last couple 3-yard quilt videos about my mystical, magical way of how I trim up my half square triangles to do multiple at one time. And I finally am back home. April was a busy month with my guild retreat, and then also going up to Oregon to visit my sister, watch her do her PhD defense, and then also my niece's birthday. So finally, the travel dust is settled, the wheels aren't moving too far outside, and now it's time to get that video going for you. So the big thing was how I trim up my half square triangles. The way that I do it, I kind of just, nobody really taught me this. I kind of just figured it out on my own one day because I didn't like using the tiny little rulers specific to the size. I don't have a block lock ruler. I feel like I would have to buy a bunch of block lock rulers and they are pricey. And so this is just what works for me. It may not work for you, but I'm going to show you how I do it so you can see if it does work for you. So let me show you my little supplies of what I do and use when I'm trimming up my half square triangles, and then we'll go from there. So first off, you're going to need some half square triangles. This is for one of my upcoming quilts that I have not done just yet, but it's coming soon. So this is going to be one of my 3-yard quilts coming up. It is from the One Block 3-yard quilt that came out last year, I think. So I've got a bajillion of these, no joke. I think once I got everything all put together, there's 196 of these. Yeah, a lot. So you're gonna need your half square triangles. I've already pressed and done everything with mine, and they've been slept on by Trixie, as you can see here, and I've tried using my new clapper, and my clapper became a chin rest, and life with cats, am I right? So get your half square triangles. This works with any size half square triangles. I just happen to have these small little guys today. You are also gonna need a rotating cutting mat because that's what I use. I've done it on a round one and I've done it on a square one. Let me tell you, I much prefer the square one because you get more surface area. You can do it with the round one. You just, obviously you wouldn't be able to get up to the corners, and you do want it to have the 45-degree marking on it because when you have a square, those are 90-degree angles. We're going to be using that 45-degree line to line up our squares. So rotating mats, whatever you have. Bigger is always better if you want to get more done at once, but you got to work with what you have. That's totally fine. So there's those two things, and let me go grab my cutting tools that I use because you need those as well. So the last things you'll need to trim up your half square triangle are your trimming tools. So I've got, this is an 18-inch ruler. It has no slip grip on it. I will be the first one to say I don't like slip grip rulers. So like the Quilter Select, the Creative Grids, I really can't function with the Quilter Select ones. Those are too sticky for me. Creative Grids I can kind of work with, especially with the specialty rulers, but I like my rulers to not have a grippy back on them. So this is the Olipfa brand, O-L-I-P-F-A lip edge ruler, but mine has the lip edge broken off because it has seen much better days, and I am so very sad. These rulers, from what I understand, are discontinued, but when they're all intact, actually this one, the lip still works because it's got a little bit overhang. It hangs on the edge of your cutting mat, so that's how I line things up when you see me cutting regularly. It's not necessarily going to be used for this one here because I'm not going to be using the lip grip, but I like my rulers to not be slippy. This one's a good size. If you don't have one that's just slightly bigger than your cutting mat, the regular like 24-inch I think is the next size up I have. I've got these in 3 sizes. That's how I love them so much. And you're gonna need a rotary cutter. I've got my Quilter Select one here. Quilter Select's thing I do like. This rotary cutter is so nice. I probably need a new blade, so I might change that out before I do this video and get to the cutting part, but you got rotary cutter, ruler, rotating mat, half square triangles. Let's do this. Okay, so let me get my rotating mat up here. I'm gonna try and figure out the best angle to do this from so that my hands don't get too much in the way, but we'll see. I took my watch off, so that's not gonna be too much in there. So the first thing I do is I look at my mat. I get it up close. And so I start with this 45-degree line, and that's how I figure out my spacing for getting my half square triangles on there. So I go as far down as I can, lining up. So I'm looking at usually I mean, I've never met a half square triangle that I'm trimming down to 1/8. I take that back, I have, but I didn't like it. So I'm looking at where my halves and my holes are. So then that's gonna be where I'm gonna be trimming up. And then I'm gonna go opposite this corner, do the same thing. So like I said, this can be done with any size. So if I have like a 5" that I'm trimming down to 4.5 or whatever, I just line it up on there. And then, so I'm gonna go up to this corner, and there's my half and my hole, and then my half and my hole. Okay, so now I've got the base in there. Oh, come on. They do slip slide a little bit, so move my toot out. Then I'm gonna kind of start building this up to see how many I can fit across. I'm following my 45-degree line on each side, because what this is going to do is this is going to help build my rows and my columns of what I need. Can I fit one more in the middle? Ooh, I can. So in here it's going to get a little squishy, but if I keep my line lined up with going, when I get these ones in there, then it'll be fine. So now I'm going to work this way. So I'm going to go, because here's my hole that's going down from that one. Hole, not a HOLE, but a WHOLE, a complete. A whole number versus a partial number. Okay, and now I'm going to get this guy here. So I'm looking at both this and this direction. So I'm going to go, there's my 45. And okay, so now I've got to just fill in here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that can go here. 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Wow. Is this really going to be 25 on here? That's impressive. I think this is probably going to be the most half square triangles I've done at a time. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look, this section here is lined up with the half on the bottom. So I'm going to look to where those are and find my diagonals and then just kind of finagle them into place and try not to knock anything over. So this one is here. Probably should have done my bottom one first. But I'm really looking at those 45-degree angles and lines and markings to make sure that when I trim it up, it's still going to be a true half square triangle and not something that I did a little funky. So, because we've all done that where our perfect points aren't perfectly pointed anymore. Like right here, I'm going to swing this down a little bit, but I'm going to make sure it's in that like trimming line. And now since it's rotated, I'm going to go this way and then start building into here. See, if I put this one here, it's not lining up to there. So I've got to look at that guy too. So there's my corner. So usually when I sew my half square triangles, I go a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch on each side of my marking anyways, because that helps give me a little bit more trim room. And I would rather have a little bit more room to trim than try and cross my fingers and my toes and hope that my seam allowance catches. So here we are, and that guy's there. There's my 45. Maybe if I cut from this side. I'm thinking ahead already, so sorry. We're back. Oh, this guy's here, so this is the tight one. This is probably why I usually don't do this many on here. But I don't think I've done this small of half square triangles in quite some time. We're gonna spin. Okay, ooh, I felt something wiggle. Okay, here's my, this one could have used a little bit more pressing. Yeah, when I was pressing these, or trying to, Trixie decided to come up on my ironing board and take a little snooze while I was in the middle of using my fancy little clapper that I hadn't used yet. And, ooh, that one is, ooh, this one's not gonna be good. Huh, I'm gonna pull this one out because I need to do some TLC with that half square triangle. I had some that I think I stretched a little bit too much in the wrong direction. Okay, so that guy's there. And this one, checking my column. I have done this before where I've accidentally not gotten one in a row. So I'd have a whole row and then like one like a smidge over. And it works just fine. You just have to, one, pay attention to that on all your rotations so you don't accidentally either cut it or miss it. Because I know I've definitely missed one. Which is easier than cutting it too short, because that's a sad day. Okay, that guy there, almost there. Okay, so I'm still, so this one we've got the half, still looking at my 45s, and then squishing that down. Okay, that one's gonna be close. Maybe, I think this guy here, if you look at it, like this purple's not fully there. I'm gonna give that another press with my iron and see if we can make some magic happen. Okay, so we've got one more to fit on here. And then it's time to cut. So as you can see, this isn't, it takes a lot of setup, but I feel like it is much easier than grabbing a little square and then just doing these one at a time, which I know in the past people have said, just get a block lock roller. And I mean, I've thought about putting block lock rollers on my Christmas list because it's something that somebody else can feel like they've invested into my quilty artillery, but I've made it this far without one. Why break what's not broken? Why fix what's not broken? Here's my ruler. Okay, so now let me line it up, taking into consideration what your trimming up size is. So I line that up there, slice, and then I'm gonna just pick this up. See, I like the no slip because I can pick it up and move it a lot easier. Anytime I have to use a quilter select, I have trouble because when I pick up my ruler, my block comes with it. So, oh, I just scooched that one. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so there's the first 5 cuts. This guy I bumped, which is nice because I can see that I bumped it. Well, I mean, it's not nice that I did it, but here we are. So I'm just going to rotate. Don't have to pick up a single one of those. Before I had my rotating mat, I would like stand at my cutting table, which was at that point a dining table, and just like rotate my way around the dining table on a couple sides. And then on some of these smaller mats, like not this one that's underneath here, this one underneath is a 24 by 36, but like the 12 by 18s and the 24 by 36, you can kind of just rotate your mat very carefully. Obviously it's not going to have as much of a smooth transition as a mat that is designed to rotate, but hey, you make what you have work, right? Okay, so now I'm on the last one of this side, and then we rotate, and then I'm gonna do this side. So see it this way, I'm getting 25 half square triangles trimmed up at a time out of my almost 200. Like, I picked this pattern and then, oh no, Are you in the wrong place? No, okay. This one, see right here, this one's sticking out a lot more, and I thought it wasn't gonna trim up to size, but, oh, that was a close call. I thought I had scooched it too far, but it'll be, we're safe. I do have more of this orange, as you've seen me use in many other projects. I think this is like my 3rd or 4th project that I'm using this orange star on. but I don't know. I don't know if I have more purple, which is why I'm concerned about that other half square triangle. Concerned for its well-being, but nope, that guy scooched. That's okay. Scooch you back. Scooch you back. Okay, this one here. All right, after this, we are down to our last slice set. Okay, but yeah, after I picked this pattern, I don't know what I'm thinking sometimes when I pick things. I just get excited and go, this is going to be an amazing 3-yard quilt, and I have the perfect fabric for it. And then I see the construction and I be like, I'm going to be sewing half square triangles for the rest of the month. But not really. I did these all in an evening. And then I battled Trixie on the ironing board for an evening. So I like to break it down. So it'll probably be a little smidge of time before I do the next wave. But that's what happens when you have 1,000 fantastic, exciting things you want to do at once, and you need to pace yourself. Okay, so that cut, and now this last one. Okay, all right, so now we just pick these guys up, and look at how cute they are and how nicely trimmed it is. So it is, I mean, because of these piecings, I had a little slippage, but for what it's going to be used for, this is going to be used for 3-yard quilt. So that'll just sew up right in there, and then I just pull them all off, stack them up nice and cute. So I got 25. I think these will get done pretty quick, because if I can fit 25 on here and there's 200 essentially, I'll get it done in like 8 passes. That's a happy sounding cutting. So, dun, 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 dun. Okay. Ooh, like that one looks really good. Look at those. All right, and so after I get all of these all off, I'm just gonna sweep all this off to the side. And then what I'll do is I'll just, once I get all the little like shrapnel all swept off for all my trimmings, my trimmages, then I'll just bring my garbage can and just swoop them in that way. But that is how I trim my half square triangles. And so now that I've swept all this off, I'm going to set up the next round and then just keep going from there. So I hope that is helpful and that it makes your trimming of half square triangles a little less boring and chaotic. And we'll see you again next time. Oh, and P.S. this is that wonky one. It trimmed up just fine. So there you have it. All done.